Put your head right on that door. Stay right there. Head on that door.
For kids, the thrills of the drug life and the big profits to be made off the street value of cocaine, marijuana, and heroin shine brightly amidst the...
I mean, because every day I can wake up, you know. I know what I'm gonna do. I know how my day's gonna end up, you know. I'm gonna wake up and get washed up and stuff and go out, go straight to a little restaurant or a cafe right there on the corner, get me some breakfast, and just get out there, you know, and get busy, start selling dope. I was making enough money to recop and have fun, you know, get high every night and go places and buy little things, you know. Like a dope fiend come up to me with a gold ring, I could be able to buy it, you know, for about $10 to $15. It ain't nothing.
As soon as I get out of school, I used to just go sell drugs and be with the people who selling drugs around me, like my friends and stuff. And we used to talk and sell drugs and run from the police occasionally and stuff like that, and, you know, laugh about it, you know.
I see it all the time. I mean, I see guys hanging out. I see them making drug deals on the side of my store.
Jim Copes is trying to raise a young family and run a business in East Oakland. But he's having a hard time and he worries about the future.
I want to know, do you love me?
Drugs are all around him.
How much do you love me?
Unlike many residents, he complains openly and pays the consequences.
There was some kids riding their bike in and out, and they were standing like you and I standing here talking. They were passing drugs back and forth and money, and the kids were riding the bicycle right underneath them. And I said, "This is the end of the road. I can't deal with this anymore." So I called the police to surprise them, and they searched them and everything. And next thing I know, I was talking to one of the guys over there a few weeks, 2 days later approximately, and man, we got into it. One guy started chasing me, the other guy tripped me, hit me with a 2x8. And they said because I was a fink.
So SDU 2 guy, SDU 1 guys, all got your shotguns, right?
Oakland police are vigorously attacking the kind of drug dealing Jim Copes complains of, street dealing. They do it full time, trying to find out where drugs are being sold outdoors. Then, as officers wait in unmarked cars in the neighborhood, an undercover cop buys some dope and immediately calls in the others to catch the sellers. It seems like a lot of work and a lot of police to arrest small-time marijuana dealers. But the process is repeated over and over, and it has made a difference.
It appears to have moved a lot of it inside. It's made them a lot more cautious. You don't see the numbers of kids on the corner selling that you used to see. This comes, Mike, who does this go with? Yeah.
How'd it go with me, man? That ain't my car.
Who's got it? Come out of your hand?
But the police can only move the dealing indoors or somewhere else. These raids, while effective in making sales riskier, probably have little lasting effect, and certainly not much impact on the values of the young.
I don't care if they take every police officer from every state and country, they will not, they will not stop drugs. It's part of their program in their life. Every day they wake up, I said, well, we're gonna go over to her house and get high and do this, or we're gonna do that today, you know.
I started smoking weed when I was in the 4th grade. It wasn't no big deal. I just smoked weed every day.
Every day?
And I still smoke weed every day.
I used to smoke weed before I went to school in the morning, but I had to stop that because when you can't smoke weed when you're on your way to school because you can't comprehend to what the teacher's saying, you be in your own world. So I smoke weed like after school or late at night.
To go to sleep.
Yeah.
On the front porch of the home next to Jim Cope's store, 3 young women, none of them yet graduated from high school, pass the time.
Everybody into cocaine nowadays because there's so many base heads out here. You know, people that smoke through the base pipe. And That's why everybody's starting to sell cocaine now.
If I was to smoke, take a hit off coke, then my eyes would get real big. My heart would be beating fast, and I'll be
Looking on the ground.
all these white specks I would think was cocaine. Weed don't make you tweak. Weed don't make you be up with your eyes like this, wanting another hit, like coke does. They just tweak out, just like my friend. He killed this girl, and it was so bad that, they was smoking. They were smoking on a pipe, and they killed her and threw her body in the closet. And, wait till they finished smoking and call an ambulance for her and all that. Coke dealers, they point out girls down the street and tell me, what she done did just to get a little $20 rock, She'll be having sex with dogs, or she'll have sex with 5 or 6 men, just for a $20 rock. And
I think if they, come to jail or something, or, something that's going to teach them a lesson, not to go back and do it again, that'll probably be the only thing. But a lot of people still don't see it that way, because like I got peers up here, who is just waiting to get back out and do the same thing over again,
Remain seated and come to order. Court's now in session.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
In juvenile court, Judge Wilmot Sweeney must decide how to treat young drug dealers.
They come in and they look like kids, by golly, and they're accused of all these things. And if you don't know it, if you haven't read the record, he's just like anybody else's little teenager.
He admitted the sale of cocaine to the court and the violation of probation.
Sweeney presides over an increasing number of cases where teenagers are accused of selling hard drugs. Here, a young man was caught selling cocaine while on probation for a previous drug violation.
I would ask the court to give the minor a chance to show the court that he will do well on probation. I believe that the minor is motivated, and I believe that his stay in custody, some 38 days, has taught him a very, very valuable lesson.
While he was on probation, he may have been completing his weekend training academy, but he was flunking the course out on the street.
Sweeney also finds that it's hard to reason with young drug offenders. Nothing seems to impress them other than the threat of jail.
The lack of morality that's displayed by them, and the fact that they don't even see things the way the rest of us see things. That's shocking and scary. We've got to do something about it. My basic concern is this is 2 times in a row, and in a very short time. I mean, a very short time. He comes in and there's one drug finding, then he turns around and he does another one. Bam. It's telling the court to go to hell. Probation report indicates that the mother has a cocaine problem herself. I almost felt like crying. I hope you didn't see that in there. At least I hope he didn't see that. This kid's mother is on cocaine. It's clear that he's using his cocaine sales to help support the family. But what in the world do you do when those kinds of pressures are being put on a 16-year-old kid? You can't say, don't love your mother, son. Of course he's going to love his mother. I've got to consider taking him out of the home and placing him somewhere else. All right, now, James, I'm ordering you to camp. If you come back with drugs, I've got to escalate. That means I've got to get tougher. The next highest place is California Youth Authority. You don't want that. Tough is one of my A things. I take the view to the kid. You've told everybody to go to hell up to me. If you'd been listening to your mother in the first place, you never would have gotten into any trouble. If you'd listened to the cop on the beat, you never would have gotten into trouble. If you'd listened to your school teacher, you never would have gotten into trouble. And finally, you're here dealing with me. I am the last step. You will not tell me to go to hell and get away with it.
Hold on a second.
Judge Sweeney isn't at all sure that the punishment he imposes will change the behavior of drug dealers. But the law gives him very few tools to work with, and he doesn't want to simply give up.
Finally, we're asking that the court order the minor to pay $100 as a restitution fine to...
We've got to say that something can be done at this level, and I insist that we try hard to do that.
What frustrates Judge Sweeney is that from the bench, he is powerless to change the environment in which drugs and violence flourish. Neighborhoods that may not look like the tenement-ridden ghettos of the East Coast, but where single-parent families are the rule and poverty pervades. Ava Washington has lived in East Oakland in a housing project 14 years. Her friend Mary Martin has been here almost as long. Not too many years ago, they were teenagers. Today, they are bringing up their own children.
We're in what you would call a ghetto area. We are living in city-owned housing.
The drugs is here. We can't hide that the drugs is here. And I have seen some younger ones, 9-year-old, getting high.
A lot of people that do what?
There's a lot of little kids that be doing that stuff.
Little kids doing it?
Yeah, about like 13 to 12.
You know what? Yeah, Bobby said people 12 doing that.
And 11.
Well, you've seen kids smoking?
Yeah, I seen some over by the store. I seen them. And I seen this boy, he was smoking it.
But nobody here, of course.
No.
But it's more than smoking dope that disturbs Ava Washington. She is ready to quit her job so she can stay home because of the violence, the shooting, that is all too close. Her 17-year-old boy had a close call recently when he borrowed her car.
I got a bullet hole in my car now.
Why? Drugs involved?
And I'm not gonna lie, it's drugs. It's drug related, and then again, it's this peer pressure thing, and who gonna outdo each other? You know, what projects is the baddest, you know? Because they come through here right now, like we sitting out here, and they've been coming through here like once a week. And the boys that's playing over there at the basketball court, they'll just start shooting. Don't care who they shooting at, they just begin to misfiring.
Yeah, there be a lot of shooting around here.
Sometimes it be at nighttime, sometimes be in the daytime when people be playing. But if I hear it's right by me, if it's right by me, I'll run. But if it ain't, I just keep playing.
Last week they came out here firing guns, and all my children was out there, 5 and 6-year-old, you know, and I'm at home. I have to call my son, hey, get them home before they get shot. And I mean, they be shooting for real bullets and guns out here.
Sounds like you liked it.
I mean, I did, man. I like the excitement, you know. I like, you know, adventure, you know. I'm the kind of person to go after excitement, you know, danger.
You can get killed, though.
I know that, but I was scared of dying, right? When you come close to dying, you know, it's even funner. There been times that I came that close to death and laughed about it the same night, a couple hours after it happened, just laughed about it.
There is the constant adrenaline rush. And I think that's why the street life is so hard. It's so hard just to seduce someone away from it because that's where the excitement is. What do you offer in exchange for that 8 to 5 on a job?
Joanna Henry supervises young offenders at the Los Cerros camp and in the streets of Oakland. She's been a juvenile probation officer for 20 years. Like Judge Sweeney, she uses the threat of arrest and of confinement to try to change the behavior of her wards. She finds it nearly impossible to convince them there's anything wrong with drug dealing.
It's going to cost you your freedom eventually. Very good chance it could cost you your life.
She is pessimistic that her work will have any permanent effect.
It's very clear I have to stop his dealing by taking him through the court process and getting him off the streets. Now, whether that solves the problem in a larger context, I don't think it does, because his warm spot on the sidewalk is filled probably before our court process is finished. And what it does for this person as an individual, does it turn him around? Does it change him? I would say in general, no. It stops him for the time that we've got him.
From her experience, Joanna Henry believes that children who live amidst drugs and violence must be educated and diverted early if they are to have any chance of escaping from the prevailing life. By the time a child reaches high school, it may be too late.
Put your cigarette out. You don't smoke in front of school.
At Castlemont High in East Oakland, Vice Principal Carol Evans has plenty to do, just getting kids to class and not disrupting the school.
Put it out.
Do you think it would be appropriate to have some kind of a drug education program more than just in a few science classes?
Sure.
Here.
Sure.
Why isn't there?
Well, at this point, that isn't, you know, that's not our number one focus.
No counseling programs or nothing like that, you know, just same, you know, hear the same thing coming from the adults, you know, that selling them drugs ain't gonna get you nowhere, you know, hearing that all day, you know, from grown-ups that then, you know, then been there or lived the same life or something, you know.
So you discount it, you don't believe it?
Now I believe, but right then, I didn't never listen to him, just being hard-headed, think you know everything, that's all.
In a different setting, an alternative high school called the Street Academy, which attracts students who have had a hard time adjusting to regular schools, drugs are openly discussed with some regularity.
People who cannot respect things and go overboard on certain things, they're called abusers. You do too much of something, what are you doing? You're abusing it. You drink a few beers too many, you're abusing it because you can't walk straight, you can't talk right. You smoke a few joints too many, if it's, it's heavy stuff, your mind is, the perception's not gonna be there.
But, when you go out in the streets, it's hard because it's all over. I mean, everywhere you go, ain't no place where you go and people don't do drugs or at least smoke weed.
Not me, personally, but I have seen people who smoke weed in front of their parents.
While the Street Academy, with its small classes and involved staff, may turn some high school students on to school and away from drugs, most experts agree that by the time a youngster reaches high school, even if he is active in sports or other after-school activities, the die is cast. But in Oakland, programs for younger children are scarce as well, though some exist.
Someone came up to me and asked me to sell drugs, but I said no.
Street Smarts, in its first year, is a carefully crafted curriculum designed to teach elementary school children how to deal with crime, drugs, and violence. Toward the end of the instruction block, uniformed police officers run one class.
Do you think that drug sales are going to stop because one person says no? Do you think so? Because you refuse to do it. Okay, you've only